My fiancé said, "People don't care about you. They're just being polite because of me." I answered, "Got it." I stopped joining her anywhere. 3 days later, one of her friends quietly whispered something in her ear, and her smile disappeared instantly. Original post. I, 31 male, had been with Jenna, 29, for almost 4 years. We got engaged 8 months ago at her family's lake house in Michigan, and honestly, I thought we were solid. The kind of couple that just worked, you know? We had our routines, our inside jokes, our plans for the future. I'm a graphic designer working remotely. She's in pharmaceutical sales, and we built what I believed was a pretty comfortable life together in our apartment in downtown Portland. Looking back now, I can see the cracks were always there. I just chose to ignore them because I was in love with who I thought she was. The comment that changed everything happened on a Wednesday evening. Jenna had invited me to her company's networking event at this upscale rooftop bar downtown. These things weren't really my scene. I'm more of a brewery and board games kind of guy, but I always went to support her. I'd put on my blazer, make small talk with her colleagues, nurse a whiskey, and watch her work the room like she was born to do it. That night, I was standing near the appetizer table when I overheard 2 of her co-workers talking about someone's husband who'd apparently made a scene at a previous event. Just casual gossip, nothing directed at me. But Jenna must have noticed me listening because after we got home, she sat me down on our couch with this serious expression. "Jason, we need to talk about something," she said, tucking her hair behind her ear in that way she does when she's about to say something she thinks I won't like. "I need you to understand something about these work events." "Okay." I set down my phone, giving her my full attention. "The people there, my colleagues, my boss, the clients, they don't really care about you being there. I mean, they're nice to you, but that's because of me. They're being polite because you're my fiancé. You understand that, right?" I felt something cold settle in my chest. "What are you saying?" "I'm saying that when they ask you about your work or make conversation, it's not because they're actually interested in graphic design or your opinions on craft beer or whatever. They're doing it for me. Because I'm important to the company, and keeping me happy means being nice to the people I bring around." The way she said it, so matter of fact, like she was explaining how a vending machine works, that's what really got me. "So you're telling me that nobody at your events actually wants me there? That I'm just tolerated?" "I'm not trying to be mean, Jason. I just think you should know the reality of the situation. These are professional networking opportunities for me, and while I appreciate you coming, I don't want you to have false impressions about the relationships there." I sat there for a moment, processing. For years of supporting her at these things. For years of making an effort with her friends, her family, her colleagues. And apparently, none of it mattered because I was just the plus one, the accessory, the person people had to be nice to because of her. "Got it," I said quietly. "Don't be like that. I'm just being honest with you." "No, I appreciate the honesty. Really, it's good to know where I stand." She looked relieved, like I'd just agreed with her about what to order for dinner. "I'm glad you understand. I was worried you'd take it the wrong way." I didn't say anything else that night. I just went to bed while she stayed up scrolling through her phone, probably texting her work friends about how well the event had gone. The next morning, I made a decision. If I was just being tolerated, if people were only nice to me because of Jenna, then the logical solution was simple. I'd stop putting them in that awkward position. I'd stop going. Friday night, Jenna had plans to meet some friends at a wine bar in the Pearl District. Usually, I'd tag along, even though her friend group wasn't really my crowd. They were all in sales or marketing, talked constantly about their careers and traveling to conferences, and had this competitive thing going on about who had the best Instagram aesthetic. "You ready to go?" Jenna asked, checking her lipstick in the hallway mirror. "I'm actually going to stay in tonight." "You have fun, though." She turned, surprised. "You're not coming? You said people are just being polite because of you." "I figure I'll save everyone the trouble of pretending to care about what I have to say." "Jason, don't be dramatic. I was talking about work events specifically. Were you? Because it seems like the principle applies everywhere. Your friends, your family events, all of it. I'm just the guy you're with, not someone people actually want around." "That's not what I meant." "It's fine, Jenna. Really. I'm just taking your advice and adjusting my expectations. You'll have more fun without me there anyway. You can focus on your friends without worrying about whether I'm being entertained." She looked like she wanted to argue, but her Uber was already outside. "We'll talk about this later," she said, grabbing her purse and leaving. I spent that Friday night working on a freelance logo design project, and ordering Thai food. Honestly, it was peaceful. No forced small talk. No feeling like an outsider in conversations about people and inside jokes I didn't understand. No performance of being the supportive fiancé. Saturday, Jenna had brunch plans with her sister and mom. Usually a command performance for me. Her mother loved to talk about wedding plans and ask pointed questions about our timeline for kids. I didn't go. Sunday was her friend Madison's birthday party at some trendy restaurant that served tiny portions on huge plates. I stayed home, went for a long bike ride, met up with my buddy Trevor for beers at our usual spot. Jenna was annoyed but trying to play it cool. "You're really not going to Madison's party?" I don't think Madison would even notice I wasn't there. "She's being nice to me because of you, remember?" "You're being petty." "I'm being realistic." "You opened my eyes, Jenna." "I'm just acting accordingly." Monday evening, she had another work thing. Drinks with her team to celebrate hitting quarterly targets. I didn't even ask about it. Just made myself dinner and started a new video game I'd been meaning to play. By Tuesday, I could tell she was getting frustrated. She kept making pointed comments about me, sulking and making a statement, but I wasn't doing either. I was genuinely just opting out. And the crazy thing? I felt lighter, less anxious. I'd spent so long trying to fit into her world, trying to be interesting enough and social enough and impressive enough, that I'd forgotten what it felt like to just exist without that pressure. Wednesday was when everything exploded. Jenna had plans to meet her college friends at a cocktail bar downtown. This group of women she'd known since freshman year, who all still acted like they were in a sorority. She didn't even ask if I was coming, just announced she was leaving. "Have fun," I said, not looking up from my laptop. "This is getting ridiculous, Jason." "What is?" "This whole martyrdom routine. You've made your point." "I haven't made any point. I'm just respecting what you told me. People don't care about me. They're being nice because of you. So I'm removing myself from that equation. Everyone wins." She left angry, slamming the door hard enough to rattle the picture frames on the wall. I found out later what happened that night from Trevor, whose girlfriend Melissa was part of that same friend group. Apparently, the girls were all sitting around their usual high-top table, drinking expensive cocktails and catching up, when one of them, a woman named Kendra, asked where I was. "Oh, Jason's not coming," Jenna said, waving her hand dismissively. "He's been on this whole thing lately about not going to my events." "Really? Why?" another friend, Brittany, asked. "He's being sensitive about something I said." "It's whatever." That's when Kendra, who apparently had always liked me because I'd helped her move apartments last year and spent 3 hours assembling her IKEA furniture, leaned over to Madison and whispered something. But she wasn't as quiet as she thought, and Melissa heard the whole thing. "Maybe he finally realized how you talk about him when he's not around." Madison's eyes went wide, and she tried to shush Kendra, but it was too late. Brittany had heard too. "What are you talking about?" Jenna asked, her voice taking on that edge it gets when she feels attacked. Kendra, apparently emboldened by her second martini, didn't back down. "Come on, Jenna. You're constantly making jokes about him. About how he's not ambitious enough, how he's fine with mediocrity, how you wish he'd dress better or be more assertive or whatever. We've all heard it." The table went silent. "That's not. I don't do that," Jenna stammered. "You literally called him beige last month," Brittany added quietly. "You said dating him was like eating plain oatmeal. Filling but boring." Melissa told Trevor that Jenna's face went completely white, then red. She tried to laugh it off, claimed she was just venting the way everyone vents about their partners sometimes, but the damage was done. The rest of the evening was apparently awkward as hell, with Jenna leaving early and the group text later that night being full of tension. She came home around 10, earlier than usual, and I could tell immediately something had happened. Her makeup was smudged like she'd been crying, and she had that manic energy she gets when she's upset. "Did something happen?" I asked. "Do you think I talk badly about you?" The question caught me off guard. "I mean, you told me to my face that people only tolerate me because of you. So yeah, I'm guessing that's not the worst thing you've said." "That's not what I was just trying to be honest about professional dynamics." "Jenna, be real with me for once. Do you actually respect me? Or am I just some placeholder fiancé until someone more impressive comes along?" She opened her mouth, closed it, opened it again. "That's not fair. Answer the question." "I love you, Jason." "That's not what I asked." We stood there in our living room, the city lights flickering through our windows, and I watched her struggle to find an answer. And in that struggle, I found mine. I think we should postpone the wedding, I said. What? No. Jason, don't. I'm not breaking up with you. Not yet. But I'm not marrying someone who talks about me like I'm an embarrassment when I'm not in the room. I'm not marrying someone who sees me as less than. She cried. She apologized. She swore she'd never meant any of it, that she was just insecure and sometimes said stupid things to feel better about herself, that her friends took things out of context. But here's the thing about betrayal. Once you know how someone really sees you, you can't unknow it. Every interaction gets filtered through that lens. Every compliment feels suspect. Every moment of affection feels conditional. We're still technically engaged, but I moved into the spare bedroom. I'm going to therapy, alone, because Jenna keeps making excuses about her work schedule when I suggest couples counseling. And I'm starting to realize that maybe the person I fell in love with never existed. Maybe I was just so eager to be loved that I accepted a version of partnership that required me to shrink myself. Her friends have been reaching out, Kendra especially, apologizing for starting drama, but saying someone needed to tell me. Madison sent a long text about how Jenna does love me, but has some growing to do. Even her sister called, trying to smooth things over and convince me that Jenna's just stressed about the wedding. But I keep coming back to that conversation on our couch. The casual cruelty of it. The way she genuinely seemed to believe she was doing me a favor by explaining my place in her hierarchy. I don't know what happens next. Maybe we'll work through this. Maybe I'll realize I deserve better than someone who needs an audience to feel superior to her partner. Maybe she'll actually change, do the work, figure out why she needs to diminish the person she claims to love. But I'll tell you what I do know. I'm never again going to be someone's plus one in my own life. I'm never again going to smile through being tolerated. And I'm never again going to accept less than I deserve just because I'm afraid of being alone. Because being alone? It's actually not that bad when the alternative is being with someone who makes you feel invisible.